well, not exactly the most impressive victory for my San Francisco 49ers, but suppose a win is a win for them, as they got it done. They got the bounce back win that they needed, and moved to 2-2. What's going on, everyone? It is DylanLasagna back with another video for my San Francisco 49ers in this 2024 campaign. As, like I said, they took care of what they needed to do, however they could, as they beat the New England Patriots in their Week 4 matchup, 30-13. But still plenty to clean up. There's still plenty to clean up from this game, in a game that the Niners need to have. Had they not won this game, coming off of two bad games in their road trip, the Minnesota Vikings and against the LA Rams, in a game that they should have won, but unfortunately they didn't. They were staring at a 1-3 hole. They were going to be staring at a 1-3 hole with even more questions and answers on, well, how are they going to save their season like this early on in the season? Like, questions to their questions were going to be piled on to this team coming off a Super Bowl loss. You know, that Super Bowl hangover, that curse, already piling on to this team. So there were going to be a lot of questions for this team if they lost to a rebuilding team like the New England Patriots. You know, that at least is trying to fight for all their might. So the Patriots, they managed to stick around in this game that honestly the Niners really shouldn't had let them, because in the first half, you know, they're running up the scoreboard. It was 20-0 at one point. And they could have made it more, but they missed out on some opportunities and ref ball. And in the second half, there was a lot of sloppy play from whether it's missed tackles, a certain special teams miscue, and just some other three and out miscues as well. But either way, they managed to come away with the victory, but not exactly the get right game where, you know, you really need to lay your foot on the ground if you were San Francisco. So let's talk a little bit about some of my takeaways for both of these teams coming out of this one, starting with the Patriots. For Patriots fans out there, coming from the outset of it, from a filthy casual fan, from me to you, if there's one thing that you can take away from this game from a positive standpoint, actually two things. One thing, it's that your defense in the second half played better. They at least kept you in the game. They allowed 20 first half points. They allowed a lot of good amount of chunk plays, but in the second half, they managed to minimize an even bigger blowout from happening with a couple three and outs, some nice stops, and the real Peppers, your safety, he got a nice end zone pick, taking advantage of a really bad Brock Purdy throw, and even though the offense didn't take advantage of that, you know, at least there's something. And then Christian Gonzalez also had himself a solid game in coverage. So that second half defense for New England, it was something. It at least minimized an even bigger blowout from occurring for the New England Patriots in that second half, only allowing 10 points. So 10 points is 10 points, but I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been worse if you were the Patriots. What is worse though for them is that offensive line, because that offensive line keeps disappearing like flies. It continues to be a disappearing act for them. I get it. Jacoby Brissett, he is what he is at this point. I mean, you can ask him to do more, but he's been on like multiple teams. He's been around the league since 2016. I mean, he's already been there once before he got traded to the Colts, and then here he is again a couple years later. But yeah, he is what he is at this point. I mean, I believe Joe Davis pointed out that they were down to their fifth tackle, left or right tackle, and I'm just like, damn, like they have no healthy linemen in that front trying to protect Jacoby, and you can easily tell that he has to get rid of that ball fast, especially against even a less than 100% 49ers defensive front that recently lost Javon Hargrave and lost one of their other backup reserve interior guys replacing Javon Hargrave. So that tells you that they need some help They need serious help on the offensive line for New England. Like, I get it. This is a rebuilding team. This isn't like not expected to compete for a playoff spot, but it's just like, damn, like they need someone to protect their quarterbacks. And I mean quarterbacks because once again, why do people want to throw Drake May into the complete dumpster fire when you even have the commentators agreeing with me, not like open, like, oh, hey, let's call up this random guy and say, hey, you know what you said in your little filthy casual preview to this game? It's like, you know how you said, do you like, let's not throw Drake May into an offensive line that can't protect them. They said that in the game. It's like you shouldn't be throwing. It's not time to throw Drake May into this situation yet. And yeah. After what we just witnessed, with Jacoby taking 5 sacks, another set of plenty of hits, yeah, you can see why Joe Davis and Drake Olsen were openly saying that. It's just not the right time. It really is not the right time for Drake May to be going out there taking a lot of hits from the offensive line. Again, I have to say this, and he literally doesn't have anyone to throw to. And Jacoby didn't have anyone to throw to. He had to rely heavily on the running game. And I thought the running game was going to be a factor in this one, and it kind of was. But Ramondre Stevenson was a fumbling machine. He literally fumbled on their second series. Antonio Gibson did a little bit better, but then they have to rely on Jermichael Hasty when they benched briefly Ramondre Stevenson. But yeah, the Patriots, they have some personnel issues, but it's expected when you have this rebuilding squad. But especially on the offensive line, like they really have to get healthy if they want any of the quarterbacks, whether it's Brissett or Drake May, to survive. Whenever they decide to put in Drake May, like hopefully, like they can keep him upright. Now looking at from the 49ers perspective, I mean we all knew Brock Purdy had a good game. I mean going in, I mean you don't want to say anything like too predictable, but Brock Purdy had another good game. He had some very good throws, throwing 20 plus yards again, like some really nice dimes to Ayuk, Debo, and he also had a not so nice throw with that previously mentioned interception to Jabril Peppers in the end zone. But he was once again slinging and dinging, and also making some scramble plays that will make you say, okay, let's not do that. It's like a clear indication that this offensive line for San Francisco, yes, our own offensive line, needs to do better in protecting him. But the two things that stood out to me in this game were, first on the defense, Fred Warner. Fred Warner is, I think I said this before, but I'll say it again. He is the most important player on this defense. And also people say, oh, what about Nick Bosa? Or what about this other guy, Charvarius Ward? No, Fred Warner. Fred Warner, he is and will be the most important player on this defense. He was flying all over the field, as he always does, in this game, just like he does in every game. He made another great play in the second quarter, climbing up the ladder, like an invisible ladder, to nab a pick six on Jacoby Brissett on a ball that Jacoby shouldn't really have thrown. He just threw it directly at Fred Warner, and he took that thing, brought it for 6, and then he continued to fly over the field. Now, unfortunately, he didn't play all second half because of an ankle injury, trying to get a fumble. But yeah, that his best ability was not just his playmaking ability, but his availability. You saw in the second half, like why it's important to have Fred Warner out there. It just felt like the defense regressed to a degree, especially when they gave up that red zone touchdown after the special teams botch. I'll talk about what that special teams botch specifically was when I get there. The good thing is that the defense held up all right. They gave up a good amount of chunk plays in the second half, but they still managed to hold their own. The good thing is that it seems like he's okay. He's moving fine. I saw a little clip of him like post game, like running, like celebrating all that. So it seems like he'll be okay. They're just holding him out for safety reasons. But yeah, you You just better hope that he doesn't suffer anything significant, and I certainly hope he doesn't. But yeah, Fred Warner, the most important player on this defense. But now let's talk about the special teams, because certainly there are some problems with that unit. Again, continues to be the problem. This is like the third straight game where the Niners continue to shoot themselves in the foot on that side of the ball. Wisnowski not having a good game on punts, and the unit allowing a solid amount of return yards, like whenever they punt the ball to the Patriots. But the biggest mistake that they made in this one, though, was on the opening kickoff to the second half. Isaac Grindo, like, what are you doing? You're running into your own man, and then boop, there goes the ball. He fumbles it and then goes right to the Patriots. I kid you not. It's like and then they scored a touchdown, but you're lucky that the Patriots didn't score anything after that, other than like another field goal. But like, I wouldn't be surprised if Kyle Shanahan put his butt in the doghouse. I wouldn't be surprised if Isaac Grindo gets put in the doghouse. Sure, he played one more series or two, but it's just like, I wouldn't be surprised if Kyle puts his booty in the doghouse, because right after the Patriots scored a touchdown, you saw Debo, and I'm not sure who else was out there. Like, they were the kickoff return men, not Isaac Grindo. So you knew that Isaac messed up. They also lost their punt returner, Jacob Counting, to a shoulder injury, so they had to use someone else by the name of Kyle Juszczyk in trying to return punts. So I just hope that Jacob is okay, nothing serious. But interesting that they used Kyle Juszczyk trying to return punts. I guess the scoreboard was up so bad in terms of their eyes that, okay, we can just have a little fun with it. But all in all, it's all serious, though. They really got to clean up that problem area that's been killing them since the Super Bowl. Like, how would they not yet? Like, why are they so cursed on special teams? Like, this is a problem that needs to be fixed ASAP. Like, why is it such an issue for them? Like, someone talk to their special teams coordinator, because like they should like dedicate like a good amount of practice time to this special teams, because this is a problem. Like 2 games, okay, that's coincident. That's coincidental. 3 games though, that's a major problem. That's a major problem, especially that fumble. That fumble is a serious issue. Like, what are we doing here? So, anyway, the Niners win this one, 30-13. I guess a win is a win. Yes, it was sloppy. It was messy. But you got to do what you got to do to win this one. I mean, I wasn't particularly too impressed with the win. I mean, Brock Purdy did his stuff. He continued to impress me, though. Fred Warner did some nice stuff. Unfortunately, he was held out in the second half, but they got the win. That's all that matters to me. They're 2-2, and they got a couple more important games. This is the start of an important slate for them. 4 games, 3 of them are at home, and yet they have to win at least. They have to at least split them, or at least go 3 of 4, and that starts with Week 5 at home against the Arizona Cardinals. Yeah, it's another one of those important games that the Niners have to win, because they're already 0-1 in the division, while both Arizona and the Rams are 1-0. Ironically, with Arizona having one of those wins over the Rams, but with the Rams having that win over us. So, yeah, the Niners seriously have to take this game very seriously. I mean, not that they don't take any game seriously, other than, I guess, Minnesota, but they got to take this game seriously, because you don't want to fall behind 0-2 in the division, especially because you have 2 division games coming up in just less than a week apart. But, for the Cardinals, just looking at them very early on, man, they have face planted with since they faced the Rams in that Week 2 matchup. Looking pretty impressive with that connection with Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison, and that whole offense looking pretty fire. But they lost a close one to the Detroit Lions the next week, and I thought things were pretty okay despite that right tackle issue. But man, the Commanders really exposed that problem. They really shut that down. Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, they really commanded that ass. They commanded an ass whooping in the desert. They whooped their ass this week, and Arizona is going to be desperate for a win. They're going to be desperate coming into this game, but the Niners are gonna have to want it even more. If they want to get back to the top, if they want to go to 3-2, going into a Thursday night game against Seattle in Seattle, and clearly they're going to be watching with open eyes on what's going to happen with the Seahawks going into that Monday night game against Detroit. So it's going to be an interesting one in these next set of games coming up. But for the 49ers, they got to take care of business in these next couple of games. These 4 games are pretty important for them. As they get towards, as they start October. Can't believe it. They're already in October. So, yeah, it's some interesting stuff coming up for them. But for now, let me know your thoughts on this win for the 49ers, beating the Patriots 30-13, moving to 2-2, and even 2-2, ending the month of September. And now we move on to October in the NFL season and for the 49ers as well. But, yeah, that's it for this recap for my San Francisco 49ers. They get the W over the Patriots. Let me know your takes on this win for San Francisco in the comments below. And until the next one, keep that lasagna very cold in the fridge with your takes on the world of sports. And until then, peace out.